So, we're talking about the things I have learned in corporate this year. But before we begin, if you're seeing this video, that means I've made it to my testing 2 year anniversary in corporate. I did a similar video to this last year where I celebrated my 1 year anniversary at work and thought I'd make an updated version. First thing that I'll say is top of mind for me, and I think it's because I just recently learned or was reminded of it, and it's the fact that you will be right most of the time, especially when it comes to talking about your subject matter, especially even if you're early in career. A lot of the time, young people or people who are just starting off, we tend to play on the more conservative side of things because we never want to, at least let me speak for myself, because I never want to, come as being, I guess, a know-it-all. But sometimes you are the one that is the most knowledgeable about your subject matter. So don't be afraid to push back, especially when you know your stuff. The second thing I'll say that it's related to, I guess, networking and oh, you should build your network. There's nothing good about a network that is that you can't leverage. And what I mean by that, people, you have a bunch of warm connections. Nobody really knows you. You don't really know anyone, but you guys are acquaintances. Maybe that's just my warped view of what people mean by networking. I think this year really taught me the power of getting to know people deeply. Ask people's lives, remember their birthday. You have to really be interested. A lot of the networking advice we've gotten have been pretty surface level. Comes to the time when you actually need your network, it kind of feels weird because you don't necessarily know that person, or it's awkward for that person to vouch for you. Because if you have never helped this person or provided any value to them, then why would they help you?
The realization I have is related to being your authentic self and bringing your true self to work, but I don't mean it in the way that you think. I think a lot of the time when people talk about this, they mean it for for example, woman, I'm from Jamaica, that would look not code switching, bringing my full self to work. But I mean it in terms of your interests. And so, what to be this year, or an example I'll share, is that I had an interest in speaking. One of my goals is to give a TED talk, yada yada yada. So in order for me to do that, I have to continuously speak, get my reps in, and practice just speaking on the fly. And so came available at work where they had storytelling workshops, and I had gone to them previously. I made it known and myself did the exercises, volunteered there at the workshop. And so the organizers, when I was to kind of help out and be a host, they thought of me. And this brings me to my next point. Stay ready so you don't have to get ready, because one thing about opportunities is that they won't necessarily come to you twice. So you never miss out on your opportunity to be lucky because you weren't ready. When they reached out, it was to host a panel in front of 2,500 people at a convention center. So it's the biggest stage I've ever done, and plus it's for this corporate company. And I was this close to saying no, do it for the plot. And it was such a great experience, lots of learning, and again, putting my reps in. But I felt like if I wasn't practicing, or if I wasn't already doing things like that, or coming on here speaking to quite literally no one online, then I'd comfortably in the first place accepting that offer. So stay ready so you don't have to get ready, and then take the opportunities, because sometimes they only come once. So I realized very early on this year that this was gonna be one I was gonna be active, so a lot happened, like promotion, but just lots of exposure. And I feel like it was super unexpected, but just
it was
lots of
because
exposure. And I feel like, and when those opportunities, it was super unexpected, but it was because put time into practicing or getting ready, because I had been doing all of that stuff. Wait, are you seeing like it left like a spot? Alright, so I'm gonna add a bit more powder. That. And then there's a baseball game today. In doing some work in the morning, and then we're heading to the baseball game. And then we have like a happy hour with networking. My new team changed teams again. Love that for me. And so we have a lot going on today that's a bit less formal. Been digging this blue because it makes my eyeliner.
Okay, another realization, hoping that this mic is working, is that you should seize your season. So I think there's a saying that says, oh, you should seize the day, but I'm going to flip that and say seize your season. And what that basically means is that think about where you are right now in your life, what things you do have and the things that you don't have, and act accordingly. So I don't have any children. I live with my partner. We're in a city. So there's certain things that we have the opportunity to do, things that we can take advantage of that we wouldn't necessarily be able to take advantage of if we were not living here, if we had children, so on and so forth. So it all ties back into my advice about opportunities and taking them when they come, and then that further time back into my advice too about staying ready, staying prepped, so that you don't have to get ready and get prepped. So seize your season. And yeah, that's just the current season I am absolutely in right now in my life. It's kind of like chopping wood, carrying water, doing the dirty things, doing the things that nobody wants to do, putting in the legwork and the groundwork so that future Chelsea can be very happy and satisfied with what present Chelsea is now doing. And then as you can see, it is much later now. I am actually back from work. So this is the face after a couple of hours. This is the fit. I'll insert some photos of the entire fit. Then with happy hour with the folks from work. And now we're back home to prep for the work day, to do it all over again. Well, to a lesser extent. And the last tip I want to leave you guys with before I start taking my makeup off, it lasted the entire day down to the eyelashes, is a tip on mentors and mentorship. And I think this applies overall in life, where you absolutely need specific corporate and career mentors. So which is why I'm going to say it in this video. And it is, you should look at mentorship, because I think there are lots of people that paper on the surface it looks good, and especially as young people try to speak into your lives, especially when it doesn't necessarily align with their values and what they think you should be doing. So this is a note to you and a note to self as well, that you should only take advice and seek mentorship from people who you actually want to be like, because it makes sense. And in career, that would look like me, for example, wanting to be CVP, CEO. Why would I take mentorship and the investment of mentorship, because it's a two-way relationship? Why would I invest their time in a path that I know I don't want to pursue? that would be a waste of time. I wouldn't want to take mentorship or be invested in a relationship with someone who is, say, a software engineer. I don't aspire to be that, so why would I do that? So it's like bringing the common sense back into it and making sure that we keep it at the forefront of our minds. But those are the things I wish I knew a bit earlier, the things that I've realized over my last year in corporate. I've had a fantastic year. I feel like I have been offline, been going so hard at work, which is absolutely paying off. So if you've made it to this part of the video, thank you. Like, comment, subscribe, you know what content you'd like to see in the future, and I want to hear your thoughts on these tips and what you would add to these tips down below. Until next time, with love from Chels. Bye from Chels.